I want to say hello to all of you and introduce myself. And one of the big things I want to know is, where are you joining from? Where are you in this great, big, highly connected world that we've been kind of extra thrown into since COVID started? I'm from Vancouver, Canada, and I am Karina, aka Auntie Karina, which my daycare kids called me for years and years and years and years. So it just kind of made sense that I kept the name while I continued on in my world of child industry. So I'm really excited. This is my very first webinar. So here we go. I know you're going to enjoy yourself because I always have fun, and I know I love to hear you guys' voices and your opinions. So do chime in. If I don't catch your comments right away, do not panic. I will come back to them later. So who's here is ready to tame their toddlers so they can slay their business and actually enjoy their family? Like, can you say, give me a me, right? You're probably not the only one. Ready to tame the toddlers. So don't worry. I know you guys are like screaming busy. So I'm going to try and make sure that we get as much information packed into this in as shortest time as possible. So if you do need to run off to do the potty trot, hit the volume up, and then we'll just keep on going. Are you ready? Are you ready? So when you hop on, say who you are, where you're from, because I love to know, because it's super important to me. You guys are really important to me, and I am super excited about doing this. All right. Looks like because of the technical difficulties, I may or may not be able to see your comments. So don't panic. Like I said, just put them down there. And if I don't get them to them while we're running live, I will get to them as soon as I can after. So this is who this is for. Like, this is what you're going to get out of it. This is specifically for really stay-at-home moms, work-at-home moms, mompreneurs, mom bosses, moms with toddlers doing anything. So basically, that's you, right? And I am here to spend about half an hour right now to kind of get you guys where you can actually do things with your toddlers around, where you're not having to chase after them and wonder if they're coloring on the walls, painting the dog, climbing up God knows where to get heavens knows what without breaking their neck somehow. I don't know how they do it. And so that you can get things done without always having to wonder what the heck is going on and be running around after your kids instead of running your business the way you really want, or running your home the way you want. It's the same thing. I look at running your home the same as running a business. Takes stamps on the walls. Yes, we have all been there. Yeah, it's lots of fun. So if you are either new to working at home, or let's say you are new to, bringing your work home, or you're new in your business, or even if you've been in it a while, running the two takes a tremendous amount of energy and time and a whole lot of being able to juggle. Now, I suck at juggling balls, but I'm really good at juggling many tasks at once. And one of the things that I'm really good at is getting kids to do what I need when I need it, and they're happy to do it, so that I could get the things done that I needed to have done, right? So it's really important. And one of the ways I'm able to really do that is that I am able to set boundaries with toddlers. So I'm going to teach you guys this. This is like the secret sauce. Like, you guys are getting like this big old secret sauce right out of the gate. I am going to actually teach you how to set those boundaries with your toddlers so that you can get those important, like, pay your bill emails, the ones that you get the money in so you can pay the bills, and without actually get all those invoices and things sent out without actually having to chase your kids off the chandelier while you're trying to hit the send button, Remember that? Yeah, it's crazy town. I don't want that for you. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. I'm going to get you the parenting hacks that you need so that your toddler will actually listen to you the first time without bribing them with cookies. Keep that on the back burner. Even the best of us have resorted to bribing with cookies because Hey, cookies are good. Besides, we don't need the sugar rush. You know, they say a moment on the lips, a lifetime on the hips. So we're just not going to go there. Now, here's the other thing that I want to teach you is how you can actually be able to parent your kids so that you can actually be closer with them, more connected with them, and actually really do all the things that you want to do. I mean, working from home is the reason to raise your kids. It's the reason you started it in the first place, right? So let's make that happen. And I'm actually going to have things that I'm going to teach you that are going to be able to really, little things that you can do right out of the gate so that you can kind of shift from that, oh my God, what's my kid doing? What is my kid doing? What is my kid doing? Ah, they're stamping on the walls. They're painting the dog, to, hey, I'll be right with you. Right? Mommy's going to go do some work too. And this is what we need to do. And mom can do her email and boom, send in. Way to go. So it'll be a really different feel for you. It's going to be a little bit more of kind of organizational for you, where you just have to kind of pre-plan what you're doing in your brain. And with the tools that I'm going to give you guys, the hacks I'm giving you, you're going to be like, could have had a V8, right? Those moments. All right. So I want to get you shifting from being stressed out and frustrated, just like trying to give your toddler 5 minutes of time while you're doing all this stuff, to, I got it. Have I got this? No big deal. So I'm going to help you set up your sort of the basic premises of so that you can get to the goals that you really want to achieve, get your toddler working with you. And sometimes that actually means having them color the envelopes for your clients. Had that happen is awesome. And so that you can both get what you need. Your toddler can get what they need, you can get what you need, and actually create this closer bond with them. And while you show up like the rock star business mom that you are, and even when you have to have play dates to go to and you don't even know where to begin to get anything done, unless your kid is sleeping, or I don't know, you've got them tied to your hip facing outwards so they can color while you're doing it, doesn't work that well. Or even if you're one of those moms that has said, I've tried everything and I still can't get my kid to do anything on my own. I can't take my eyes off them for more than 2.2 seconds before they are like doing gosh knows what. Like kids, they just, you blink and they're gone. All right, so here's what we are going to do. You might be thinking, listen, my toddler doesn't listen to me. Who has that? Hello? Who has heard that here all the time? You can't get your toddlers to do anything independently because it's mom, 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 mom. I'll stop because you get enough of that. You are scrambling between getting your toddler off the counter and answering time-sensitive emails. Who hasn't done that? You're ready to put something in there and you've got, that important piece of data, and all of a sudden you see the child reaching on the countertop for something that all you see is a header and off to the emergency room. I got a plan for that. Or maybe you don't even know where to begin with your toddler to get them to stop like tantruming or needing you or whining at you, even if you think about working. Okay, when you feel like you're doing, sometimes that we kind of get that feeling that we're just not doing anything right. I'm here to tell you you are. But I'm just going to give you a couple little tweaks that I know will make it a little bit better for you. You're just basically too stinking tired to even handle one more thing. Much less an entire like parenting course. Like, too much, overload. Hold that thought. We're going to shift that. Going from being completely overwhelmed, stressed out, frustrated, done like dinner, where you can't even enjoy a glass of wine at night, and you might have think, listen, everything I've done, nothing works. Well, I'm here to tell you, you may have done everything, but you've not done everything the way I've shown you. And with 30 years under my belt, let me just tell you, I know my stuff, and I'm going to give it to you guys. Okay? So really, really what it is you're just so close to the situation. They always say, oh, you can't see the forest for the trees. Or if let's say for those of you that ever played sports together or played a game where everybody was running around and then you said, oh no, I I was in, I slid in, I got it, I'm safe, or no, I got the score. Oh no, they pushed me. Well, we can't see it because we're like right here and we're too busy into it. And we don't have the ability to step out of the situation and really look at it a little more, less, emotionally involved and less like I'm right in it. Okay. And that's what basically your coach does, whether it be a coach for your business, whether it be a coach for your team. They're able to stand back and look at the whole situation, and then they kind of guide you to where you need to go. It's the same thing that a parenting coach does, or as I like to call myself now, because I've been working on this, a parenting support coach. Okay. I support you as a parent and the things you're doing while coaching you with tidbits of goodness and amazingness that actually works and is, number 2, really simple. All right, let's get in on it. If you are trying to like spend hours a day where you are talking to your friends on the phone instead of talking with your clients, basically you are trying to fix it by hitting on Pinterest, Googling, yakking at your best friend, well, and it's still not working, you're spending all that energy, we're going to kind of shift that. So that feeling of, I just can't do both, to, I got this. All right, so let's dive in. All right, everybody with me so far? Yay, yay, yay. And if you haven't actually met me before, and I hope you have, and if not, here I am. I am Karina, more affectionately known as Auntie Karina. I'm a mom of 2 grown sons, and I live just outside of Vancouver, British Columbia, with my fabulous new husband. Yes, new husband, ever so fun. So I was a special education assistant back in the day. This is a while ago. But I've always been involved with kids. I was the with babysitter. I've always found kids fascinating. They've always flocked to me. I'm basically known as a kid whisperer. So, and I worked as well as with autistic adolescents that were in a residential home. So I've really had some pretty in-depth experience working with kids of a variety of ages, stages, and challenges. So when I had my sons, I had them 18 months apart. So busy. I really had to make that decision. Do I want to work outside the house, or do I want to raise them myself? And if they turn out to be monsters, it's all my fault. I was going to take the chance that maybe I might actually know what I'm doing, and where the chips fell, they fell, and I was going to be responsible for those decisions. Now, don't forget, this was about 30 years ago. So the internet didn't even exist. Yeah, I'm that old. It's like back when dirt was being made. We didn't even have the internet. Okay, I know. Just blew your brains, didn't I? So what happened is that I stayed home and I tried a few businesses until little tiny ones. And I ended up starting to, again, collect kids. And the next thing you know, I was being asked, hey, can you watch my kid after school? So I'm like, yeah, I'll stay home, make a little extra money and raise kids because it's what I do, right? Right. So what happened is 15 years later, actually over 15 years later, and over 83 kids through my door. How sane I am remains to be seen, but I'm medicated, so it's all good, really. I get asked more and more often over time, how my kid's doing this, my kid's doing that, my toddler's biting, my kids are screaming and having a meltdown before bed every day. Like, what do I do? And I spent years helping my parents out that were in my daycare. I always called them my parents in my daycare, to figure out like how to figure that stuff out so that they weren't losing their mind, because they only had a little bit of time at the end of the day. So, right, who wants to spend it yelling and screaming at your kids? Not me. Okay, like, done. So the more often I was able to do that, more I honed my skills. And now I actually work with moms of toddlers all the time to get kids to teach them how to get their kids to listen to them the first time. No bullhorns needed. Just the occasional cookie to bribe them with, because that's always good. And to actually get them to start behaving like the kids they always dreamed they would have, instead of looking at the kids going, what did I do? Okay. I've been there with those moments where I look at my kids, why did I even become a mom? Okay. I know those feelings, and it's not easy, but that's where I can support you, because I've been there. So a lot of people have told me that basically I'm kind of magical. Yeah, I actually have been, people have actually said to me, you are like practically magical. I'm like, I know, like kids just come up to me out of nowhere. It's crazy town. So when I start teaching, when you are starting with your kids, so here we go. We're get out your pen and paper because we're gonna get into this now. You are actually gonna start. I want you to not just look at the behavior. Okay, so if your kid is suddenly writing on the walls, or they are, pulling on the dog's hair or tail, or they are like beating on their kids, or they're whining or whatever, I want you to stop and not look at the behavior of what they are doing, but I want you to start looking at it through the eyes of what is causing them to do that. Something that I'm really found over all these decades is that behavior isn't usually just behavior. Sometimes, but for the most part, especially with toddlers, the behavior is usually a symptom of what's going on under the surface. And when you start to recognize those things, it completely changes how you look at your kids. Instead of going, stop that whining, stop crying, we're going. You start looking at it a little bit different and going, yeah, stop that whining, or I hear you're whining, but it just shifts how we look at things and how we're able to deal with them. So instead of dealing with them on a reactive basis, we're able to interact with them on a proactive basis. And I think that is crucial to the moms that I work with. To my clients, I am huge on you being a proactive parent, because reactive parents are always chasing after. They're always reacting after the behavior. When you work with me, I teach you how to be ahead of the game. It's kind of like when you're running your business. You don't just suddenly chuck everything up willy-nilly. You plan out your content. You plan out how your marketing is going to go. It's the same thing with parenting, but people don't really think of it that way. We are basically handed this little human being and they're, smell you later, figure it out. Oh, by the way, this is how you wash them. But they don't give you any idea as to what to do and how to actually raise these blank slates. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a moment to just quick check on the kids, because I know we need to have a moment with that. And then I want you to come back and throw down your questions. So I'm just going to have a sip of my bubbly. It's just bubbly water. Really, I didn't put anything else in there this time. All right. Everybody good? Awesome. All right. As you catch up, I'll be repeating myself because I'm kind of do that, but you'll get the hang of it. So ever since we have had kids, we've basically been winging it and flying by the seat of our pants and pulling out with a little bit of experience that we may have had with a sibling, or watching our grandparents, or watching our neighbors, or whatever it is. But it takes a long time. And some of the most crucial times are between the ages of 0 and, birth, and about 7, they say, so when they're going to school. But I find that the real crux is about 1 to approximately 4.5 years old. That is a crucial, massive learning time for your toddlers. That's where they start to learn what boundaries are. That's where they kind of start to put it all together as kids. And here we are with, figure it out. And these little creatures are growing and exploring and doing all these things and pushing every one of our buttons. Why? Because we're genetically programmed to. And we just got to figure it out. So it's kind of like when you're, with having a kid, it's kind of like having a job. Like your first 5 years, you're like, okay, I first the learning curve is like this, right? And then it kind of plateaus, and then you start to get more and more comfortable as time goes on. It's kind of like when you first have your baby and they start crying, you're like, what are they crying for? You start to decipher that, and then you start to kind of know the difference between, when they're hungry and when they're cold and when they're tired. It's the same thing when you are starting to recognize your kids' behaviors. It's kind of like figuring out why they're crying. You're addressing the crying, but what's underneath the crying? And that's where you got to start looking at things a little bit differently. So you kind of sort of know the difference of what's going what when they're small, and then one day you don't. And you're like, but you changed the rules, or as I say, you made a lane change and you didn't put on your signal light. Not always a good thing. So this is what's going to really separate you guys from basically just moms and entrepreneurs who have no energy and time to really enjoy their families, to be able, and where they have to get up at ungodly hours of the morning, and before, oh, my favorite, oh, just get up before the kids do. You can get so much work done. Yeah, no. I need my sleep. Or, oh, I'll just do everything when they nap, okay? And then they have the day streak where they go through, where they do 15-minute little nap bites all day. Or my other favorite, I'll do everything when the kids go to bed. Okay, so I'm supposed to get up early, work in between the micro naps, and stay up late. So that leaves me what, maybe 3-4 hours to sleep? Oh yeah, that makes me a good mom. That gives me all the energy and self-care I need to have all the patience I need. You're not. That's why what I do makes it so different. I don't want you guys doing that. I want you getting the sleep you need, because sleep is a gift you're going to give yourself. And sleep is what your kids need, because otherwise they're miserable, owly, and cranky. And we don't need you doing the same thing. So I'm going to teach you what the exact root of that behavior is, so that you can work with it. Okay? You're not going to be a reactive parent. You're going to go, I know what this is. And we're going to be able to set you into the techniques and the little hacks that I'll teach you to get you to be able to go, no big deal. Hang on. I got this. It's no problem. It's no problem. It's no problem. And we can get, you can get your toddler settled really quickly. You can get that must answered email or that invoice sent out, because we need to pay our bills. Hey, the reality is, when we're working at home, we're not doing it just to stay home and raise our kids. We're doing it so that we can pay the bills while we stay home, because it's hard, right? And the other thing is, I want you to be able to actually have a couple of sips of your coffee when it's hot, not been warmed up 6 times, because they keep interrupting or trying to climb on the outside of the banister. Ask me how I know about that one. All right, so you're going to be able to pick out of the Rolodex of my brain and get you the exact right technique and tool you need to get your kids doing that listening, to being able to address that behavior without going and reacting in this, and that just sends the upheaval for everybody, right? Nobody needs that. I'm going to help you to be able to learn. Here's the other thing, is that you can get your kids, even at a really young age, to start making decisions for themselves. Like, you give them the choices, so that you're not always the bad guy all the time. They're hungry. Well, you chose not to eat your lunch. I'm sorry you're hungry, but snack time's in 20 minutes. Not, you took my lunch away. See the difference? Again, just being a proactive parent, setting yourself, because Lord knows there's going to be plenty of time you're going to be the big bad ogre, and let's not make it any sooner than we have to, okay? Trust me on this. My mom always said to me, if you need me to be the ogre, go ahead. But right now I'm like, yeah, we're good. Let's not, right? Because it's hard. It's hard being a mom. And if I can make it easier for you, which I can, why not, right? Let's not reinvent the wheel. Pick my brain. I've reinvented it 5 or 6 times, and I'm pretty happy with the round shape it is now. All right, so knowing how to approach the behavior. So first off, we've seen what the behavior is, and we realize, okay, sometimes it's just like a smoke signal, or it's like the, alarm. It's what's underneath it. It's like that cry. What's underneath that cry? It's not just that they're crying, right? That's the symptom. What is the cause? So once you've figured out what the cause is, that's where you can start deciding on how you're going to act. So I always look at it this way. You are going to have, whether you're going to be able to look at it going, now, are they being just a little old toad? Right? Little defiant little toad, which toddlers do, because they're expressing themselves. They are feeling their oats. They are practicing their independence. Sometimes you're like, wrong answer. And then other times you can look at them and go, no, they're just being a little kid, so I really need to teach them. Safety issues are always non-negotiable. Pull off the car seat, let go of the stroller when you're walking, try and dart across traffic. That one will get you all sorts of bells and whistles going off, and they are not the fun kind. But when you've got kids that are actually going, no, I'm not going to pick up the toys, and they're going, no, you can decide now, are they just being defiant, or are they being a little kid? And then when you know what the root is, what's setting that off? I mean, it could be anything, right? When you start learning how to actually address that, you're able to then break it down from, I'm just going to go ballistic. What do you mean you said no? That's not how you talk to me. You don't talk to me like that. You need to do this right now, right? To, reacting into it in a much more positive, calm, firm way where they're going to go, okay. So much easier, so much. Who needs your blood pressure any higher than it needs? I don't need it. You don't need it. When you are reacting to your kids in a proactive, calm, I've got this, I know what I'm going to do. It's like if you get a complaint from a customer. You're not going to suddenly go, how could you, pick them up. Oh, how could you possibly not like it? It's the best thing ever. Why are you arguing with me? You should just be accept it the way it is. It's the same thing with our toddlers, only they're able to say, I'd like a refund. It doesn't work quite that way. But do you see the idea? You wouldn't react to your client with instant aggression or instant I'm angry. But we tend to do it with our kids because we're much more emotionally connected. So when we learn how to be a little bit more set away from the problem, where we're able to look at it with a little bit different eye, more of a outside looking in, little less emotionally tied, we're able to get down to what we need to do a lot easier. Because I don't know about you, but I always tell my toddlers, when you are that angry, your brain is off and you can't think. So let's get you calm and then your brain will turn on again. All right. So when the kids are learning, no, it could be just that it's a brand new word and they've learned that they can say no. Or maybe it's they know exactly what they're doing because they are just not going to do it because they are just decided today is the day I am not going to do anything because the world is not in alignment. The sun and the moon and the stars have not lined up for me and you are just not going to have that. And you're going to react differently to that than when you've got a little guy who's just exhausted or tired, it's almost nap time or they're not feeling well. It's a completely different way of reacting, right? Because you're looking at what's underneath. All right. Write down your questions because I know I'm just powering through this, but I know that you guys have got things to do, places to go, and little people to see. So let's get going here. So when you are kind of like with your kids, when we are kind of getting into that base of everything with them, think about it like this, is if you were taking your first driving lessons, think about how overwhelmed and uncertain you were and kind of scared and anxious, right? Because you didn't know what the rules of the road were, or maybe you kind of did, but you hadn't put them into action yet. Remember how that felt? Well, toddlers feel like that a lot because everything is big and new and different. So they're going to constantly check, are the boundaries the same? Is that fence around my yard going to be the same no matter where my yard goes? Does that make sense how I'm making that analogy? When you start to have words that kids will recognize and become really steady in their brain, you have a choice. You need to use your words. Let's have a breath. It lets them know, or if you hit, you're going to be sitting time out. You hit, you sit. Kids are going to start to learn that these are the same things no matter where they go. And that gives them an incredible sense of security, which also makes them a whole lot calmer and a whole lot less reactive and less likely to basically, when you turn around to find them climbing on top of the glass shelving from the coat rack onto the clothes rack onto the shelf. Don't ask me how I know that. Just saying, just don't ask. Is this kind of starting to make sense in your brain? Is this kind of, like I've expected so much more from my own kids, and I kind of forget sometimes that everything really is brand new. So if you're going into a different store or you're going to a new house, or even if you've been to that house once or twice, it's still really new for them. So keep in mind that they are seeing everything with brand new, fresh eyes, and they're too busy being sensory filled to always remember what the rules are. So be calm. Set yourself up with knowing what they're going to go, and having these tools that I'm teaching you in your Rolodex in your brain that you can access really calmly and really, lovingly, and be that proactive parent that's not losing their mind or feeling overwhelmed in the middle of the grocery store as their toddler decides that it's just a great time to lose their schnizzle. Right? We're not going to worry about that because having other people look in at us is not going to affect us anymore because we have got the plan. We have got the tools. We have got the parenting hacks, so we can just go, fill your boots. And that's where this is really neat. Because of all my years working with not only kids, but working with the Ministry of Children and Family, we had to abide by some really stringent rules. there was ways and tones of voices that we could use. There were ways that we could discipline, meaning to guide and to teach children. We were never allowed to shout. We were never allowed to yell. We were never allowed to grab at kids. We were never allowed to haul them off by the arm or, God forbid, spank them. So I had to learn an incredibly wide repertoire of ways to not only address behaviors, but prevent them. So that's what you get with me, all right? Okay, so remember, sometimes your kids' behavior is just them trying to tell you what they need or what they are feeling. And we just have to recognize that they don't have the vocabulary and the words that we do. So just hang tight with that. So I'm going to give you a little story of my eldest son, Jason, who is now taller than me and almost 30 years old. So this is going way back, but bear with me. The premise is the same. Jason hadn't been feeling well. And he was just like, you know, when you kind of wake up in the morning, your kid, you kind of go, not quite right. Well, I thought, well, and I was pregnant with number 2 because they were really close. And I thought, I'm just going to whip out and I'm going to get my groceries done because normally I did it every other week. So I thought, I'm going to go ahead of time. So that way, if Jason really does get sick, I don't have to worry about going out, right? Who wouldn't do that, right? Makes sense. So I took him. We went out, we did the Safeway thing, and we were getting near the end, and he was getting fussier and fussier and fussier. So I was letting him kind of toddle beside me, and he just plopped his little bum down, and you know how they kind of half throw themselves back, and just cried his little heart out. And I immediately went, and then I took a breath. Wait a minute. He's not feeling good. This is a lot, because the trip took longer than I expected. I didn't tell him we're getting close to being done. He's not tantruming because he's trying to be a little toad. He's tantruming because he's not feeling good and this is too much and he needs to go home and he wants his mommy, period. So instead of getting angry at him or being concerned about what anybody else thought, I was able to look at it and go, that behavior is telling me, his tantrum is telling me it's too much. So I picked him up, gave him a kiss, wiped out the booger bubbles, told him it's okay, put him on my shoulder where he promptly kind of half crashed. So I got this belly out to here, this 9-month-old on my shoulder pushing a buggy. And it was fine. But what it made me do is being able to take that step back made me realize that the behavior, the tantrum, wasn't him just being a tantrum. He needed his mom. He needed to feel safe again, and he was feeling overwhelmed. So that's one of my favorite stories because that was a moment where I really recognized that behavior isn't just behavior. Behavior is often something else. Now, not saying that every time a kid has a tantrum, though, they need their mommy. No, sometimes they need to be told you have a choice, okay? But in this case, I knew something else was up. So it was just nice to be able to have that in my brain to know I don't have to necessarily go ballistic. I can, because I know this, can make a different choice, and it was so much better. So, are you guys doing okay with this? You guys are all right? I know, sometimes I just kind of get going here. But when you learn to distance yourself from what you've actually figured out what the real problem is, and then you kind of figure out, I know what I have to do so that I can get that behavior kind of calmed down or redirected or stopped, you kind of, and as you kind of get these tools, you start actually having to spend less time figuring it out and more time, instead of like having to play charades with your kids to try and figure out what they need, you are going to be able to actually be connected with them. And you actually have to parent less. It actually gets easier because you get this closer connection when you start looking at what's behind everything. When you get that root, when you know what kind of ways to act or sort of to proactively adjust to the situation, you are much less likely to feel so frazzled all the time, which means, when you're frazzled and overwhelmed and sweaty and flustered, do you feel like snuggling your kid or sitting down and reading a book? Not me. I'm like, go to bed? Yeah. And then you've got whoever else roaring around. Yeah, you're going to feel like having some color time now. I don't think so. And when the hubster walks in the door or your significant other, oh yeah, you're going to feel like, let's have a nice sit down family dinner. No, you're going to have like gray hair. Your hair's going to be sticking out everywhere. You're going to be exhausted. You're done. The whole day was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day, and you are done like dinner. So you see, addressing your kid's behavior isn't just about disciplining consequences. It is about giving them the boundaries so that they can be the wonderful, joyous, loving, amazing little beings who, yes, are going to give you gray hair. But you can actually spend more time being connected with them, which in turn allows you to have the time and the space to be connected with the rest of the family. And even better, stay connected with your partner, because kids grow and go. And when you're constantly, okay, here's a little side trip, but you know, 3 things that kill a relationship: sex, money, kids. So this is what I think is really, really, really important. So, I mean, we can like just try and do everything the way we've always done it, right? Because that's the way my mom did it. That's the way I saw that's. Or we can still try 50,000 different things because Pinterest says do this, Google says do that, somebody else says meditate, somebody else says sprinkle them with salt. I don't know, whatever it is. Or you can start making changes and actually getting the information, kind of like when you started your business, you had to learn it. You didn't just suddenly, ta-da. Why do people think we can raise kids without knowing anything? I just slam. So you can actually make those changes instead of having to say, pause for parenting, hang on, pause for another parenting pause, because I've seen that happen. And it's frustrating for the moms that are trying to run their business because they feel like everybody's watching them be this quote, bad mom, or the people that are watching are getting a little tired of the constant breaks of, oh, can't she kind of get control of her kid? And it's difficult on both ends. And I want that to be able to be different, because you can do it different, but it's a skill. Parenting is not natural, nor is breastfeeding. Okay, the only thing natural is basically giving birth of some way, shape, or form. Okay, so is breathing. Breathing is natural. Raising a human being to be an intelligent, loving, interactive, capable, empathetic being, that takes skill. Okay, and I'm here to give you guys a shortcut. All right, so when you start looking at parenting as a skill to learn, you can set your business goals. You can set your parenting goals. You can actually create something that works for you. I give you a skeleton and then you build on that in the way that works best for you and your family, because it is not a one size fits all. It never has been. It never has been, and it never will be. I am not. One of my moms is watching is being very cheeky. I've watched many, many, many moms do the pause for parenting. So cheeky girl. Anyways, getting back on track here because I am squirreling my brain here. We can actually get you, like in your business, taking action on your plan. You can have a plan to parent, and you can take action on that plan like you run your business. They're actually quite similar. If you try and run your business without a plan, you get a train wreck. I'm just going to leave that with you guys because you don't need me to finish off that sentence. You guys are way too smart for that. All right. So when you start getting those and you can integrate your life responsibilities, use these tools to get you not only your business going, but your family going the way you want. So you can really experience that joy of motherhood that everybody blithers about, that you swear is just something, a Hallmark card made up to get money. Like, I swear, there were some days I'm like, no. But when you get these skills, it's like when you're running your business, you're like, oh, and you're overwhelmed, you're freaking out. And then somebody goes, oh, you do this, this, and this. And then you go, I got it. So much easier. Relaxed, right? It's the same thing with your family. When you get these things in place, you're able to be much calmer, which makes life in the whole family, because you're the barometer of your family. Your energy dictates how your family runs that day. If you're waking up feeling miserable, tired, and grouchy, the whole day is going to be a snizzle show. Same thing. You're waking up feeling like, I got this, I can do this, this is gonna be a great day. Oh, I'm so glad to see you guys. Let's go do our high five, which is something I'll tell you guys about later. Your day just starts off on a whole different note, and it impacts the entire day. All right. So once we've finally figured out that we need to actually stop expecting parent to be natural, We realize that it's a skill that needs to be honed over time, and to take what you know about your toddler and then we put it into this framework together that works for you, and then you can just build on it and build on it and build on it right up until adulthood, because the skills that you start with your toddlers run, just language is different, but it grows with your kids. So this isn't just something that is only for this one part. This is something that you build on and you can carry forward for your kids' entire life, and keep that, not only create the connection, but keep that connection as your kids grow and go. Oh my gosh, who does not want to have their toddler turn into a teenager that wants to come to them, that wants to talk to them, that wants to feel close and comes close to them and tells them the things that are troubling them? What parent wouldn't want that? My God, that is one of the most important things. And that's why when we get these connections and we learn how to parent our toddlers in a way that creates this safety and this love and this connection, it lasts the whole way through. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Seriously. The beauty of what I do is that I don't do it in a group. I don't stick you in with 4 other moms where everybody's kind of clamoring for attention. I only work with you. And I work with you because you need to be heard with your specific issues, with your specific questions, your specific concerns, because everybody's life is different. The demands, the responsibilities, your hobbies, your passions, what your family does, what they don't do. This is what makes this so cool, is that this works for your family regardless of, or actually with your values, your needs, and your dynamics. We have a really big windstorm of your family. So that's where I can kind of really pick out those specific parenting hacks and skills that you are going to need for your unique family and your very fabulously unique toddlers. So these are absolute game changers. So the last thing we are going to talk about is, this is the third part. This is of what I'm really kind of teach all my parents, because it's 3 parts to my program, 3 parts to this webinar. All right, let me just get this going here. We are getting to the end of this, my darlings. You guys have been amazing. Do drop down your questions. Like I said, if I don't get them now, just hashtag replay. I'll catch them later and I will answer them. All right, so, when we're running our business, and we have to really work at our copy to get the right words, to hit our ideal client, to really kind of get their attention and bring them in. Okay, I know, I'm totally doing the business and toddler thing. It works. Trust me, my brain will put it all together for you. I will. It's in here, it will come out here. So we get that, how important that is to get that right copy, those right words, to get that job, to put on your resume, to put out that post in that marketing. It's the same thing with toddlers, only it's a little bit different. When you talk to your toddlers in a way that is really clear, simple, and understandable, they're going to hear you. They're going to listen to you, and they're basically going to, in all likelihood, do what you ask, because children love to please. Have you ever seen your little one where you say, can you go get your coat? And they get your coat, you're like, yay! And they just light up like a Christmas tree. You're like, but you just got your coat. But for them, that's huge. So you're reinforcing that, right? Simple, clear words. They follow through because they want that. They crave it. They live for it. It's part of their way to stay alive back in the caveman days. When you are recognizing these things where you're using your copy for your toddler, they will hear you. They will do what you need. You can have a conversation with them in a way that they understand, and they'll be so much happier and so much easier for them to just want to help you out, because I'm helping mom. Kids running away from you at the store all the time. Instead of saying, hold on to that buggy, you say, oh, I need you to hold my hand so I don't get lost, because I might need help at the corner. I don't know which way to go. Completely different way. Help mommy find. Can you help mommy feel safe by holding her hand? Can you help mommy find this? When you bring your kids in with simple words using your copy, they get attention, they give you eye contact, which you create, and they hear you and they're like, okay, I'll help you, okay, right? They love that stuff. Trust me, worked every single time. I still go out and about in the grocery store and I see somebody going, hang on a minute, and I'm like, oh, better help mommy navigate, because I know she might bang that buggy in the wall without your help. Boom, they're there. They look at me like, bring your kids in with clear and simple words. Don't overtalk it. Otherwise, they do the Charlie. For those of you that are old enough, Charlie Brown's teacher, wah, 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 wah. Kids are learning language. Don't overwhelm them, okay? Be simple. Keep it simple. Eat your breakfast or you wait till snack. Put on your rubber boots, put on your boots, or you're gonna have wet feet, right? You teach them simply and clearly, step by step, just like they learn how to walk. And there's gonna be fall down and bumps and scuffed knees, but that's okay. It's part of their learning. Keep it simple. Same thing in business. Keep your copy simple, keep it clear. Give them the information they need, boom, 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 you're done. Same thing with kids. All right. Sometimes we need to use our bodies to help the kids, or sometimes our kids will actually use their bodies to try and communicate with us in ways that we may not understand because they don't have the words yet. So we need to also keep in mind that they have very little bodies with very big emotions, and they are processing a whole lot of stuff. So don't panic when your kids suddenly went from where, what do you mean you were suddenly telling me everything, to now you just tantrum all the time. They're going through a growth spurt where their brain and their body aren't connecting, where there's too much growing in here for them to get it out here. So help them with their words. Start writing their copy for them so that they can practice it while they're growing and learning. Make sense? Do you guys get that? You guys want to let me know that you understand that, because this is a really, really critical thing about the way we talk to our children. If they don't have the words, we need to give it to them clearly and simply. And they'll let you know if you got it right or not. So we are going to hand them the words they need at times so that they can practice what they are and learn what they are. Oh, you are angry. You look tired. You look like your tummy isn't feeling good. You look sad. We teach our children their emotions. And when they freaking out, and by going way back to the beginning of this webinar, when you were starting to look at kids and teach them what's underneath, the tantrum isn't always a tantrum. It might mean, I'm not feeling good, I'm really, really tired and I can't do anymore and I need a cuddle. Or maybe, I'm really, really bored. Are we done yet? And when the heck are we getting out here? Because I want to go play. So when you teach them, I can see, you know what? You look like you're getting really tired of this. Identifying the underlying behavior. We're almost done. Can you help me pick out 3 more things and we'll be done? Give them a time frame. They get it. Clear, simple, concise, moving on. All right. When you word vomit at your kids, it's like if you word vomit at your clients. Remember, when you say less with your kids, but you pick your words clearly and more succinctly, they understand more. Did you get that? I'm just going to say that again. When you speak simply and clearly to your toddler, they will understand more. Remember that the next time you want to word vomit on your kid. It's one of my best lessons that I ever figured out. I'm going to give that to you guys. All right. So, it's not just learning how to talk to your kids, but it's also learning on what to say. Okay? All right. Whoo! You guys are amazing. Okay, getting near it. We're getting down to the real juicy, saucy sauceness of all sauceness. So if you want to find that sort of, stay-at-home mom, work-at-home mom mix that everybody posts about, and you feel like you've kind of done everything, I've done that, I've done this, I've done that, and it's just not coming together for you, and your kids are still just not giving you that space. You're trying to get up early, you're trying to do everything during the micro naps, you're trying to do things late at night, meanwhile your poor hubby's gone to bed without you because you're trying to get whatever sorted out while the laundry's buzzing and the dog is, the cat's puking up a hairball and the dishwasher's exploding. Ask me how I know. When you're kind of done with all that and you are just done with this treadmill, like a hamster on a wheel, and you keep thinking tomorrow will be better, but you're doing the same thing. Remember, the definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing over and over and over again, but expecting a different result. Let's get you off the hamster wheel and get you into the game where you guys are going to move forward, not only for your business, but more so for the business of raising your family, the business of raising your toddler, so that you guys can do all that stuff that you always dreamed of. You can have those wonderful Hallmark moments with your kids where they are just, I love you, mommy. And when they are just, they come running to you because they found something really exciting, or somebody hurt their feelings at playgroup, where they're going to come to you because you are that anchor, you are that constant, you are that safety for them, that they can without question ever know that you are the it lady. You are the bomb.com, because you are their mom. You are everything to them. So let's give them what they need. And by giving them what they need, using these clear, firm, loving boundaries, your world will just blossom. It's going to blow your mind, because you're actually going to be able to really enjoy your kids. You're going to be able to actually go and get those emails out, send those invoices, have your little one on your hip while you're doing your cooking live. It's okay. We can mix them both, and everybody gets what they needed without the overwhelm, without the stress, without the frazzle, without the losing your shiz. Okay? So if you're ready to get off the hamster wheel and really get what all this mompreneur, what all this stay-at-home mom, working at home mom, boss mom stuff feels like, and actually have it in your home, this is how you're going to be able to do it. You are going to be able to set yourself up to be the mom that you remember when you were a little girl and you played with your dolls. Maybe you didn't, but your babies, and you're always gentle and you're always calm and always relaxed, and then you got real life. We're going to get you a whole lot more of that, where you can have so many more of those loving, really connected moments. And what's really cool is that it becomes effortless. It becomes effortless to parent your toddler, because you're coming from it, from this proactive state, from this calm, I know what I'm going to do state. You're able to set your kids, yourself up for success, because you've got this toolbox, you've got these skills. You're not scrambling at the last minute trying to remember crazy stuff that you might have read, 5 pages back or 2 weeks ago on Pinterest or on some mom blog. You're going to actually be able to talk to somebody that's going to say, stop. I want you to do this. And I'm going to be there for you. Okay, so this is how it goes. You get 4 weeks with me. That's 4 weeks, okay? Some people say, that's not very long for coaching. But with parenting, it's plenty to get you well on your way to rocking and rolling, and really give you that skeleton, that base framework, so, that foundation that you're going to build the rest of your house on. It's like that foundation that you're going to build for your business. It starts off with one piece at a time, but if you don't have a strong base, the whole thing collapses after, right? Same thing with parenting. If you don't have a strong parenting base, have that deep connection with your toddler, it doesn't build, and it falls apart later, okay? And I don't ever want that to happen to you guys. I've seen way too much of it, okay? It's fully customizable. I address you, and only you, and your family, and your toddlers privately. There's nobody else involved. You get my attention, you get my time, you get my support, you get my shoulder. Because sometimes we just need to say, I hate my kids, I can't stand being a mom. And you'll never get judged, because sometimes we have those days. And you're also going to get me going, yes, when you say, oh my gosh, we had the most amazing day, we had the most amazing outing, we had the most amazing lunch, because we sat down and had a picnic together. I was able to get my live done. I couldn't believe it. I got 20 minutes and I got 3 emails sent out, and the kids were amazing. That's what I'm going to be teaching you how to get to that point, okay? What makes what I do so different, and I've said this a few times, is I get you down to the root of the problem. I don't just treat the Band-Aid. I mean, that's easy. Kids screaming into the car. Why are they screaming? What's going on? Are they being a toad? Are they being tired, or are they being little kids? You're learning all those underlying reasons, so you're not doing this reactive pop your cork, blow a gasket, mom life that you've been living, because it feels awful. You know that time when you've yelled at your kid and you didn't mean to, but you did, how crappy you felt after? There's another way so that you don't have to feel crappy. So your little one isn't looking at you with big tears in their eyes going, but you yelled at me, and they don't really understand why. And they're horrified. And then you look at those big eyes and you're like, I am the shittiest mother in the world. I know how that feels. I know because I've done it. And I don't want you to feel like that. I don't want you to have to go through this. I don't want you to have to learn in trial by fire. I don't want you to have to reinvent the wheel. Okay? We are going to find out why your kids are acting the way they are acting. I'm going to get you rebuilding your confidence as a mom, because you are doing a great job. You're doing the very best you can with what you've got. I'm here to give you more. I'm going to get you to address these things that are driving you bonkers, because kids drive you batshit. There's no other word to put it. They will drive you off the deep end. Lord love a duck. They do. I'm going to get you addressing that, and if not rebuilding, building even stronger trust with your little one. Trust. Having them know you're not going to, they don't have to wonder, is she going to yell at me? Am I going to get a spank? What's going on? I don't know what to expect next, which creates a lot of long-term problems for kids, and we don't want that. I'm not saying you're suddenly going to become Mary Poppins, because that's just unrealistic, and I would never say that, because every now and again a good old head blowing helps. But then it's how you're going to deal with it after that's going to make the difference. And if you are doing 80 or 90% of calm, firm, and clear and loving, those odd moments when you do, they have impact. And you can take that time after and go back to your kids, because you've built this connection, you built this trust, you built this communication to say, this is what happened. I don't like the choice I made, but this is why I ended up. We need to talk about this. Do you see how it goes from just a 2-year-old, and the next thing you're talking to your 12-year-old or your 18-year-old? Do you see how that builds? That's why toddlerhood is so incredibly important. That's why you need to be working with me, because I want you to see what your kids are really asking for, and have you have the ability and the skills and the techniques to be able to actually address what they need. And if they kick off on it, that's okay, because you know you're doing exactly the right thing that you need to do to be a parent, to parent them, to give them those boundaries that they so desperately need. You're not going to suddenly stick your kid in the middle of the street, say, watch out for cars, and walk away, right? No, you're going to teach them. Same thing. So here's what's really, really cool about when you work with me. You get this really in-depth questionnaire that I send you, right? And that gives me a really good idea of where we're going. So then when we do our weekly little quick 20-minute calls, try to keep them really short, because I get right down to business, because you can do it when your kids are napping. Yes, in the micro naps. We can get a call in micro nap time. Yes, we can. And we can do it when the kids are eating lunch, or you've got them painting or doing Play-Doh, or they're playing in the backyard. We can do it anywhere, anytime. 20 minutes. We're going to get you right through things. We're going to get you right through the behavior that you're addressing for that week, because I like to pick one at a time. We don't need it all. And 95% of the time when you deal with one behavior really clearly and firmly and lovingly, the rest disappear. Or they go, nifty, huh? All right, so here's what's really neat too, is when we're sneaking these calls in, you think, well, that's it, then what do I do? I do this completely different. I think it's the most amazing thing. I had a coach do it with me, and I'm like, that is exactly what I need to do. I learned from somebody else that you can contact me 6 days a week. Karina, they are blowing their mind. They are like hitting their friends at playgroup. Every single mom hates me. I don't know what to do. And I can give you that voice text or that message right back. All right, I want you to take a deep breath. This is what I'd like you to do. Do you remember when we talked about? Yeah, and then we can hit the points that we did. So you've got contact with me all day. All day. Karina, I need you. Karina. And I'm there for you in as real time as possible. So whether your kid is suddenly decided that they want to run into traffic, or they want to basically like beat their sister with their toys, you've got access to me to be able to quick get those things, get those parenting hacks and tools that you need right then and right there to address it so you can practice them. So by the end of 4 weeks, you're hardly going to be talking to me, because you'll have had all your answers and all your questions and all your concerns, and you are going to be heard. You're going to be seen. You're going to be supported. So for those of you that were tenacious enough and patient enough, what time are we at? Oh my goodness, what a yakety box. I have a gift for you. If you have watched all the way to the very, very end of this, I have a really special, and I didn't tell anybody about this. It's called Jewel Jar Magic, and it is my absolute secret weapon parenting hack that works like a hot damn. It is a visual, it's a tool that I use that is a visual representation. It's visual, so the kids can touch it and see it and feel it, to get them to start being more independent about their choices, to be able to help them to self-regulate, to check in on their own behavior and collect these things, and be able to use that so that you get the behavior you want without having to really do too much. It's amazing. It's $150. It's what I sell it for, privately to my clients. But for those of you that stuck around to the very, very end, I'm going to give that to you guys for free. So let me just tell you a little bit about some of my moms. One of my moms, on a call, 15 minutes, we figured out how she was going to deal with her sassy, back-chatting little monster, and what she was going to do and how she was going to address it. And I got a message the next day. I didn't have to do nothing. You could smell the confidence on me. Another one. Now the parent, kids were throwing tantrums just before bed. They were losing their flipping mind. The parents were like dreading it. Set them up using my jewel jar. In 2 nights, tantrums were gone. Kids were in bed. Life was good. It was fast. It was clear, and it worked every time. How about this? Another family could not get themselves out the door on time in the morning. It just was in, they just couldn't do it. They were so overwhelmed. So I said, this is how you do it. We set up a plan. We set up a routine for them. The next thing you know, they are implementing it. And 3 days later, I get a message saying, we have gotten out the door on time 3 days in a row. That's the kind of results you're going to get. When you work with me, it's not fluff and stuff. We get you doing it with action, with a result, just like your business. When you take clear, focused action in your business, you take clear, focused action with your kids, you get results. Okay? So when you are so busy trying to do this, you know, you're just losing your mind. There are ways to make it easier. So some of you guys, I was mentioning high five. It's a little something that I came up with for my brother, who got sick and tired of nagging his kids all day, every day. Like, just got sick and tired of it. And I came up with this way for him to implement this visual system. It's a different one. And they implemented the high five system. And he went, literally, he phoned me 2 days later and said, I thought the first day was a fluke, so there's no way I was going to call you. He goes, but I only did 2 reminders. And all he did was go, high five? That was it. That was how he had to parent to get his kids dressed, ready, and out the door. High five? It's not a lot better than, have you done this? Have you done that? Have you done this? And yelling and screaming and carrying on. There are simpler ways to do things, and I have the information for you. And the only way you can get it is if you work one-on-one for me. So when you do, you're going to learn to really enjoy these years instead of wishing them away. You are going to learn how to discipline, to guide, and to teach your child without anger or yelling. Yes! But the best part is you're going to build these incredibly strong relationships with your kids that will last until they are grown and gone. And when they are grown and they come back, they're going to be, oh, Mom, do you remember when? Do you remember when? Do you remember when? Okay? All these things are going to happen. So you get personalized care. You get personalized attention. You get this personalized Voxer ability. You get to feel more confident. You get to know what strategies you're going to use. You get a stronger relationship with your kids, with your siblings, with their siblings, and with your spouse. Okay? These are all super personalized. These are all the things that you are going to get. So I could have charged you $2,500 for this. It's an investment. It's going to last you for decades. But I thought, nah, I want to make this affordable for you. So what I did is all that I've talked about, the 20-minute calls, the questionnaire, so I know what you're doing, the constant Voxer support, I'm going to give this to you guys for $1,200. $1,200. That gets you all of that I was just talking about. It's going to give you everything you want, everything you need to be a calm, confident mom, which in turn will give you the time and the space and the energy to be this calm, confident entrepreneur, or boss mom, whatever it is that suits you. So you go out there in the world not feeling like you're chasing after it, but it's chasing you because you know exactly what you're doing. So in the end, what's your ideal result, right? What is our ideal result? As mompreneurs, as boss moms, as entrepreneurial women, what is the end result that we want? And what are we willing to pay for? We will pay thousands to coaches to teach us how to run our business. Thousands upon thousands. I hear it all the time. I spent $22,000, $25,000, $5,000 on a coach. But you don't think about paying $1,200 for someone to teach you how to raise your kids so that you can be the most successful parent, the most connected parent, where you are not feeling like you're on the hamster wheel, doing the same thing day after day after day. So think about it. You pay the big bucks, right? $1,200. So now it's your turn. So now we're at the crux of it. Are you pumped about this? Is this what you want? Are you just like, oh my God, hell yeah, I'm in. Get me in this right here, right now. I want that $1,200 program. I want to get that questionnaire. I want to get off the hamster wheel. I want to start feeling this calm, confident, loving mom that I want to be so bad. I don't want to be screaming and yelling at my kids anymore. I don't want to be like wondering and what the heck they're going to come up with next. I'm going to be able to deal with this in a totally different way that's going to be so effective that my kids are going to come to me more, that I'm going to be able to enjoy them. I'm going to be able to kick ass up my business, be able to be a kick-ass mom where your friends are going to be going, whoa, what are you doing? Oh my God, you got the best kids ever. Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want that accolade? It feels good. Moms need more assurance, more support, more care, and more affirmation that they're doing a great job. And you are, but we don't hear it enough. I wanted to give you some of the tools so that maybe you can hear it a little bit more. So if you are totally ready to have this in your hot hands, and it will pay for itself, trust me, it's going to pay for itself 100 times over because you're going to use the same skills that we're teaching you for years and years to come. So if that's what you're looking for, I want you to put up your hand. I want you to put in those comments a hand wave. Just put, yes, high five, yes, I'm in. Or you can go up. There's a link up in the comments or up in the section up at the top where you can click on there and you can get in touch with me. We are going to get this going. And like I said, I only take on a couple of people. I don't want to have 10 people running because I can't give you all my time and energy, and that's not fair. I want to give you all my time. I want to give you my energy, my focus, my knowledge, my important. So click the link above or put yourself a high five down at the bottom because there's no time like the presence. So once you do that, I'm going to get you hooked up. I'm going to get you that invoice. I'm going to get you that questionnaire. I'm going to get you rolling, and we will set up that first call. And literally in 48 hours, your life will change. And it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to be able to work with you and have you feel like the amazing mom that you already are. All right, you guys, that's it. We are over and out. That is cracking the secret code of toddlers. You guys have been amazing. Remember, for those of you that are ready to go for it, give me a high five, click the link. And if you've actually made it all the way to the end, make sure you write down Jewel Jar Magic, and I'll send you my Jewel Jar Magic, my visual representation on being able to get kids to self-regulate their behavior. Wasn't that fancy schmancy sounding? All right, you guys have an amazing day. I can't wait to work with you. Feel free to message me. I'm always here for conversation, for questions, for things you want clarified. And until then, I will catch you guys next time. Hop into my group at Parenting Toddlers Through Challenging Behavior, Gangsta Mama style, because you need a little gangsta in your life to be able to deal with toddlers. Trust me, had enough of them. 83, we're good. All right, you guys have an amazing, amazing day. You have been amazing. I am so thankful that I get to be here with you guys. You have an amazing day, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. All right, everyone. Bye.